Welcome back, Carnivore fans. We are here to review yet another vehicle. Miles, you and I have reviewed Japanese cars, German cars, even British cars. But we have yet to review an American car. What better car to review than this 2017 Dodge Challenger? Look at this thing. It looks like a beast.
Yeah, Walter, it really does. This car is pretty cool looking. I love these black stripes here on the front. I love the halo lights at the front. I can't wait to drive it.
Yeah, let's take a look. When Ford relaunched the Mustang back in 2005, they started a trend towards retro styling in muscle cars, which the Camaro and the Challenger followed. While the Mustang and the Camaro have evolved that design to incorporate more modern styling cues, the Challenger really has stuck with retro styling. This 2017 Dodge Challenger has a 305 horsepower, 3.6 liter V6 Pentastar engine. The 0 to 60 is about 6.4 seconds with a top speed of about 156 miles an hour. There's also a 375 horsepower, 5.7 liter Hemi V8, 485 horsepower, 6.4 liter Hemi V8. And if none of those options stir you, then you can go to the Moab, or mother of all bombs, the Hellcat model, with a supercharged 6.2 liter Hemi V8 engine with 707 horsepower with an eye-watering 0 to 60 of 3.6 seconds.
If conventional warfare doesn't suit you, then there's always the nuclear option. The Demon, 840 horsepower, 770 pound-feet of torque, getting you from 0 to 60 in an incredible 2.3 seconds, when time does mean money. Now, only 3,000 of those were made for the US, so you're more likely to see a unicorn than one of these on the road. But let's come back down to earth, Walter. This is the entry-level Challenger that we're driving today, and for a starting price of $27,000, you get an 8-speed automatic transmission, 19-inch wheels, keyless entry, dual-zone climate control, LED lights, and a fuel economy of 1930 mpg city and highway.
Miles, any idea what a Hemi refers to?
Yeah, I think it's John Hemi, right? Didn't he invent the engine?
No, it refers to hemispherical. Instead of round cylinders, the cylinders are hemispherical.
Wow, I guess it's a good thing Dodge never designed a squared cylinder with round corners and called it a squircle. Just imagine, hey, what kind of engine do you have in that Dodge? Well, it's a supercharged 6.2 litre squircle V8. Doesn't really have the same ring as a supercharged 6.2 litre Hemi V8, does it?
Oh shit, this is a beast.
I know.
Alright, so here we are. My first driving impressions is this car does feel like a beast. Let's see what this car does with the sport mode off, and then we'll turn it back on. So, you know, it feels very tame actually. It's like a regular sedan or a regular family car almost. Really kind of feel the weight of the car in the twisties. We're on the canyon road here, and you know, I'm gunning it a little bit, and yeah, it really kind of feels like a heavy car, and it kind of rolls around a little bit in the turns. All right, so I just put it in sport mode. The car does seem more responsive, but you just don't have that 8-cylinder horsepower. You know, for the entry-level Challenger, I think this is actually a pretty good driving car.
So I drove this car a little bit this morning on the freeway, so I cheated a little bit and got a little bit of an impression of it before we got out here on these open roads. And on the freeway, you know, it really feels like a pretty good cruiser. It's got a good amount of power for overtaking. It's a pretty smooth ride, but once you get up here into the mountain roads, it's obviously a completely different story. And it does, as you said, you can feel the weight of the car and the size of it. It does feel like it rolls quite a lot in these corners. You know, one criticism I have of the car is I don't think the engine note, the exhaust note is that great. And that probably is just because it's a smaller V6 engine. I'm sure on the V8 it's going to sound pretty authentic, but on the V6 it revs high, but the note of the exhaust is really not all that great. So let's test the brakes here, Walter. I'm going to slam them on. Well, they don't feel like they grip that well. There's definitely a bit of sliding there. I was doing about 40, 50.
We are going downhill though too.
We are going downhill, that's true.
And we are talking about 4,100 pounds.
Well, I was about to say, it's a lot of weight for these small brakes to stop. I'm going to try sport mode here. The little green flag comes on in the display console. And yeah, you just feel like there's a little bit more responsiveness in the shifting, maybe even in the acceleration. definitely a little bit more fun to drive. It holds the gears for a little bit longer before it shifts up. I think from a driving position it's pretty good. I feel pretty high up here. I've got a nice visibility in the front. I mean, the C-pillars in the back are pretty big, so that is definitely kind of a blind spot. But in terms of looking forward out of the car, you've got a nice view, and you feel that you're actually kind of far from this windshield as well, which you know, makes the cabin feel pretty spacious. The seats, they're not super comfortable, but I wouldn't say they're uncomfortable.
I disagree with you there. I think the seats, the back of the seat for me is very comfortable, but the seat itself, the bottom part, it almost feels like a bench seat, and you know, as opposed to like a bucket where it kind of has a spot for your rear end. All right, so here we are in the back seat. I'm 6'3". I got pretty good headroom back here. Not too much knee room. The seat is positioned for the driver so that they have adequate room. But it's actually quite comfortable back here, and I have to say that the car is pretty spacious. I mean, it is a huge car to begin with, so it's not surprising that there is a lot of interior room.
We have to talk about this trunk, Walter, because this thing is huge. Let me just go ahead and open this up here. I mean, you could get about 4 people in this trunk. When we did our Jaguar XF video, I got in the trunk to show the space. Absolutely huge.
You know this is a badass car when the interior trunk release handle indicates you should flee should you find yourself locked in the back. I guess Dodge knows its clientele. Okay, so Miles, if a superhero was going to drive this car, which superhero do you think it would be? My initial thought was Batman, but Batman is a billionaire. Bruce Wayne, he could afford to buy or build anything he wants. So my next thought was Deadpool.
Yeah, that's pretty good, although Walter, I think maybe Thor.
That's a good choice too.
Yeah. But one other thing while we're standing here at the back of the car I want to talk about is this fuel cap. Now at first glance I think it looks pretty cool, but when you get up and close and you open it, it feels a little bit cheap. And the other weird thing to me is, why did they feel the need to write the word fuel on it? I mean, were they worried that people would mistakenly put their windshield washer fluid in there or something? So for 2017 there's a new Challenger GT version, which is an all-wheel drive variant and costs about $33,000 and comes with paddle shifting. The warranty on the Challengers is about 3-year, 36,000 miles. Alright Walter, so it's time for my favourite segment. It's the good, the bad and the ugly. So let's start off with the good. So first of all, I think one of the greatest things about this car is the look of it. Even if you're not a fan of the retro styling, you can't really deny that this car looks mean and aggressive. And it has a ton of heritage pointing back to one of the original Challengers. I think it actually looks great from pretty much any angle. And I've caught myself a couple of times today just looking at the car while it was parked up, and it really looks great. Second up, I think it's great value for money, especially if you get the V8 engine. You're getting a lot of power in a very affordable package. It's a lot of bang for your buck. And then thirdly, the interior space. There's a lot of space in the car, and even though maybe the back seat isn't as big as some sedans, it's pretty big for a sports car like this, and the trunk also is huge. I think you could get probably about 3 bodies in there, so I'm told.
Now for the bad. This car is portly like Miles. It comes in north of about 4,000 pounds, and you kind of really feel that in the twisties. If you really want something that kind of handles the twisties better, we'd recommend going for the Mustang or the Camaro. But I think anybody who's really interested in this car is going for the looks, and there really isn't anything else on the road that looks like this car.
Yeah.
And now for the ugly. We did some research and we found that the crash test results on this car are mediocre.
Well, that about wraps it up, everyone. Thanks for watching as always, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe for plenty more to come. We'll be back again very soon with another car review, and until then, thanks for watching.
Take care, everyone. We've reviewed German cars, Japanese cars, and even British cars.
Sorry,
but
there's a fly, sorry.
Right. Yeah, no worries.
Okay. So there are some buttons behind the steering wheel, but I don't think that's for shifting, but I don't know what that does.
Oh, there are?
Yeah, if you feel like there's like a little rocker switch on both sides.
Oh, you could be right.
But that's kind of a weak paddle, if that is what that is.
No, it's the
it's the volume. You're like, it's not going faster, but the music's getting louder. Out the world. So Walter, sorry, I feel it feels so weird.